It is a loving picture, accepting. It's not a tragic picture at all, even if it is showing a tragic situation. That picture put you in front of your conscience. What am I doing for that problem? So that's why people get angry.
On one hand, you had this very intimate situation, and you had a logo that was about selling. Benetton was a clothing company. It just seemed so evident what he was doing. He was creating sensational iconographic images that people would remember along with the brand Benetton.
Well, we're not looking at the commercial side of it. To us, it was an opportunity to make people think about AIDS.
The Kirby family said, Benetton's not using us, we're using Benetton. We want people to know that David was with us once, and this is what the disease did, and it's devastating. I was living in Athens, Ohio. I was a grad student. I was interested in AIDS as a project. So I ended up going to the Paternoster House. It was a hospice home for people living with AIDS. The woman who started this home felt it was better to, rather than to hide, to be open about what she was doing and why. So she said, you can take photos here. His name was David Kirby. He went to the hospital in Stafford, Ohio. It's a very small town. And they found out that he had AIDS. And they, burned the ambulance. And there was just a lot of fear. I met him and I said, hey, I'm going to be doing this project. Can I take your picture? He said something that no one has ever said to me before. He said, yes, you can, but not for personal gain. He had been an activist and he wanted this to be known somehow.
The Center for Disease Control says nationwide AIDS has struck 1,641 mostly homosexuals. 644 people have died from the mystery disease.
It was shocking. But it was building so slowly, you kind of didn't realize what you were dealing with. And suddenly it was like you were going to a funeral every weekend.
Open your eyes and see, it's a state of emergency.
We had a government that wouldn't say the word AIDS. Communities of people started to speak for themselves.
One of the things that ACT UP did initially said, we're not victims, actually, we're people with AIDS. There are social reasons and political reasons why the disease existed.
We die, they do nothing! We die, they do nothing! We die,
A caregiver said David is dying. Kate Kirby, she came and she said to me, we would all like you to photograph us saying our final goodbyes to David. She invited me into the room. They were holding him, giving him a sip of water, which I don't think he was taking, and just being with him at that moment. I had no image in mind, and I just stood there and I didn't move, and I just shot a couple frames. He died, and it was over. I think like 2 days later or something, I processed the film. I could tell that it was something there. When it was published, I think what I wanted to communicate really was just that here is what happened to this one person and their family, mom and pop, boom, and it happened to them. This is how it feels.
I did work for Benetton from 1982 until 2000. When I started to do Benetton, I said, let's do an experiment. Let's try to see if we can use communication that normally is used for selling product. Let's use communication to say something more. Yeah, let's take away the brand and let's take away the product. My task was to create a campaign out of meaning and issues that normally advertising they don't want to deal with. I was searching picture for my campaign and I found Therese Frère photo publishing life. When I saw that picture, I said, that's the picture. Everybody said, look like Jesus Christ, but he's dying of AIDS. It's very pictorial in the sense of painting. It is a snapshot, but at the same time, it's an incredible composition. The only thing was in black and white. My problem was that. I want them really to be realistic, and color is realistic, while black and white is not.
When they contacted me, I didn't know what to do about that. Benetton said that they were kind of trying to bring people's attention to this issue. The Kirby said, let's do it.
The word provocation got a very strange meaning. It sounds like if it is negative to be provocative. The Pietà of Michelangelo, is that provocative? A mother with an arm, is that son? Every great piece of art has to provoke you something. So you have to provoke interest. That's what you have to do. Suddenly a picture that nobody complained about as an advertisement then suddenly became a shocking picture.
Boycott Benetton, Benetton, boycott!
Benetton uses advertising the way bullfighters use capes, to draw attention and provoke a reaction.
All communication is manipulative. Yes, we are playing on people's emotions just the way Hallmark cards and AT&T play on people's emotions. But at least we're doing it in a way that's going to say something positive about a very serious issue.
I didn't see a message of empowerment. I didn't see any kind of message coming from that advertising that would give people a way to become active, to take action in their own world.
I don't think that AIDS activists were more activists than me. That's the point. They were not more activists than me. I had a big company investing money to make AIDS aware in the world. What did they do? Tell your client to do that, my dear friend from advertising. Tell your client to invest on problems that we should be solving.
I basically think that instead of blaming Benetton, gays, hemophiliacs, or whatever, we should blame the United States government for not doing anything for the last 12 or 15 years.
At the time, I don't feel like it created dialogue. I think it was a roadblock. I think it shut things down because people just couldn't get over the idea that there was this kind of, autobiography being used as commodity.
Well, however Benetton intends the ads, the company announced today that profits were up nearly 24% last year.
Controversy means that you discuss about that and mean that interests you, that there are different points of view and there is something going on. It's got an energy. So, from an economic point of view, I think it sells. Yes. Yeah, it did sell at Benetton for sure.
The fact is, if 1 billion people see this image around the world, can you imagine the power that has to create a collective consciousness in the world that hadn't previously existed? Just consider an image viewed by 1 billion people, that image viewed by 1 billion people.
I hear that it did change people's impressions of AIDS, and I hope it did. At this point, I realize it's become an image that has stirred up a lot of emotions and has become very significant.
My feelings about that photograph have significantly changed over time. Now, when I look at that photograph, I can see the humanist empathy of the maker. It was about trying to capture a human moment.
We say in Italian, guardare e vedere. I don't know if you understand that. To look and to see. There are things that happen that we don't want to see. David Kirby was a great help to make understanding what AIDS was about.
What do you think David would say about all of this with people, press conferences, and what do you think he'd say?
Oh, he would have. He just said, "Go for it." That's the words he would have used. Is go for it. That's what he would.
He's a